Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be your general love messages for the second half of April 2018. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to give a general overall intro for all of these videos I'm going to do, repeating what I did with the first half of April, where I'm going to read by each element, starting with fire, ending with the water signs, and each sign within that element is going to have their own deck assigned to them through meditation. You're either going to have the Happy Tarot deck here, the Santa Muerte deck here, or the Housewives Tarot deck here. And you're going to have 3 cards on this side, which will represent the energy of the zodiac, which we're discussing at the moment. And on this side, you'll have the energy of the partner, potential partner, friends with benefits, the person that you're interested in, the person that is interested in you. And then we're going to read all of those cards together at once. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to view this video and watching other videos that I've put up on this channel. I really do appreciate it. I also would like to invite anyone who is interested in having a personal reading with me to check the description box below or the About page. You'll find the information on how to do that there. And if you aren't necessarily interested in a personal reading, but you just want to show your thanks or gratitude for what I'm putting out here, you can feel free to give a donation. And that information will also be in the description box below or found on the About page, okay? So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the readings, starting with the fire signs. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is going to be the love messages from the second half of April for the air signs. Hello, air signs. How are you? Hope you're doing well. So again, this is going to be love readings for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. As you guys saw in the beginning of this video, I have meditated on the 3 decks separately. Gemini, you have the Happy Tarot. Libra, this month, the second half of the month, you have the Santa Muerte deck. And Aquarius, you get the Housewives Tarot deck. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming to view this video. I do appreciate your views. I also appreciate your likes and your shares and your subscriptions, as well as your comments. So if you feel compelled to do any of those things when it comes to this video or the reading that you receive here today, please do so. If it resonates with you, please let me know in the comments. If it doesn't, I'd like to know that too, because, you know, I'm kind of nosy like that. I like to know things about people, what's going on in your life, if things are hitting for you and if they're not. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. Gemini, you are the first air sign in the zodiac wheel, so you're going to go first. So Aquarius and Libra, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Move your decks over here. And Gemini, there you are. I'm going to place you in the center of the board. And like I said just at the beginning a moment ago, I hope you're doing well, Gemini. Previously meditated with this deck, concentrating on your energy for your love messages in the second half of April. So we're just going to take a second to get back into that. And I guess we're back in it. All right, Gemini, same as it was last time. This first card out is going to be how you are right now in terms of your love relationships, whether you're in one or not, single, dating, married, not looking, swiping left, whatever you're doing. How are you feeling about yourself? How are you feeling about your situation? That's going to be your first card. Came sideways. Down. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Second card, Gemini, is going to be how you're viewing your partner, potential partner, the people that you're swiping left and right about, whoever. How you're feeling towards them, or how, not how you're feeling towards them, but how you're seeing them, how you're receiving them, how you're perceiving them, or how you're perceiving the connection between you. Oh boy. Come here. Let's see. Another Sidewinder. Up. Okay. Third card, Gemini, is going to be what's your desired outcome in this relationship, in this partnership that you have right now. What you might be hoping or wishing for in the future. Or it might be just what's next for you on your side of things, or what's the best advice, what might you need to take into consideration going forward in this relationship with this particular person. Okay. Slanted, but mostly upright. So there that goes. And on their side, Gemini, first card for them is going to be how they're viewing themselves in this connection with you. What are they bringing in? What's their current mindset? What might they be dealing with in their lives? What's their current circumstance? Second card, Gemini, is going to be how they're viewing you in this connection at this moment, how they're viewing you guys as a unit. Third card is going to be what their hopes and wishes are in the future. What's their best outcome? What might be the best advice for them going forward in this relationship with you? Etc., etc., things like that. There we go. Yes? Yes. Okay. And there's no bottom of the deck energy in these general love readings. You, Gemini, are acting as the overall energy because this is your reading. And if you're a cross-watcher, you're welcome here too. But keep in mind, this is for Gemini. Okay. So give me a second. Get a feel for what's going on here. And we'll get into it. Mission. Dynamite. Exposure. Those three words. Okay, fine. Mission. What did I say? Mission. Dynamite. Exposure. What did I don't even remember what I just said. That's how random those words were. So if they mean something to you, great. Gemini, how you're viewing yourself in this situation coming into the second half of April, this relationship or circumstance that you find yourself in terms of love, is the Knight of Cups reversed. This is the Happy Tarot deck again. I'll show it to you upright. I don't see a lot of people on YouTube using this deck. And I mean, isn't he the cutest? He's still kind of cute, even though he's in reverse. So, right now, Gemini, you're kind of relaxed in an interesting way. Like, when I just turn this card in my hand, sometimes when I do that, like, I feel like the impending energy or the status, I guess. And for some of you, you're actually pretty relaxed, pretty carefree. Some of you are kind of like spreading your love around. Because, you know, if the Knight of Cups was coming upright, you might be a little bit more controlled or a little bit more reserved with how you're expressing your love. And I think here, like, you're kind of letting whatever's in that cup kind of overflow, like pour out. So some of you, not many of you, not a great deal, but some of you are out there kind of, like I said, spreading the love. Maybe you're flirting, swiping like with fingers of fury on Tinder or other dating apps and stuff like that. So some of you are playing the field. If you're single, that's great. If you're not single, be careful. Wouldn't judge you for it if you were doing it, but do be careful, because if you are with someone else, dating, committed, married, whatever, and you've got a Tinder app and you're going crazy on it, I mean, just always consider your partner's feelings. And, you know, yeah, just tread lightly if that's your situation. So some of you are kind of like sowing your oats, so to speak. And not necessarily like in a sexual way. Again, I just feel it's sort of like playful energy. Like that knight is very happy, right? Not just because it's the Happy Tarot deck, but he's pretty happy. Like he's just having a good time. And the horse, in this case the seahorse that he's on, is like that little playground apparatus or installation. I don't know what you call them. They're not toys, but... And it's stationary, right? So he's not really going anywhere. So this whole flirting thing, or this whole out there checking out people and winking at strangers kind of thing, it's not really to do anything other than to just do it. For some of you, it's not actually going to progress any further. It's just going to remain very lighthearted and non-committal and just not serious, which is your right to do. You know what I mean? So for others of you, the playfulness is kind of the energies that you're sending out, and that's sort of a deflection for some of you. If you're doing that, you're flirting, or you're kind of, being, giving chat up lines to everybody else. But the other side of that is that you're actually not receptive to any love energy or any flirtation coming your way. Like, you're doing it just to do it, but you don't really want anything to come of it. Like I said, it's not going anywhere for a lot of you. And why you would be doing that, I'm not sure. Because some people might get the wrong idea. They might get the false impression that you're actually interested in them, when actually to you it's just sort of like a game, or sort of like something to do to pass the time, something to do just to sort of test whether or not you still got that magic touch, so to speak. So that's interesting to me. I think some of you are doing it, like I said, with the expectation that it's one-sided. Like, no, I'm just going to flirt with you. Don't flirt with me back. Don't compliment me back. Don't say that you want to have dinner with me. Like, no, I don't want any of that. So that's kind of interesting. And that would kind of explain why he's in reverse, because then he wouldn't be giving a true offer of love. He wouldn't be delivering a true message or an intended message of making a connection with someone else. Now, again, if you have a partner and you're doing this, why are you doing this? Maybe you're bored. By the way, if you're not doing this and it hasn't applied to your situation yet, please don't try to insert this into your relationship. Okay? But for those of you who are committed or married or whatever your status is as far as having a partner that is a defined relationship, some of you are bored, and you're fishing. You're out there fishing. And again, not like you want that person to reciprocate the hey, I kind of think you're pretty, or, oh, I have these common interests too. We should chat about it sometime over coffee. You don't actually want them to accept any offers. You don't want them to suggest any offers to you. You just want to flirt for the sake of flirting. And that can happen in a relationship. You've been in it for a while. Things might get kind of dusty. Things get kind of stale. Things get kind of boring and predictable. And you're on this hamster wheel of, okay, what are we having for dinner tonight? Oh, frozen dinner for two. This is great. It becomes boring, right? Boring. And Gemini usually doesn't take boredom very well. You're usually able to entertain yourselves in various ways, in different conversations, with different hobbies, things like this, different social circles that you get involved in. But other times you want to be entertained in this sort of amorous kind of way. Okay? Now, I'm not your partner, so my whole "it's not a big deal" tone, that's subjective. I'm sorry. I should have disclaimed that when I was just speaking a little bit ago. So, like I said, harmless flirting. To your partner, that might not be the case, so tread lightly and again, be mindful of who you're with. Now, for those of you where you are flirting, some of you, it's not harmless. You still don't want to receive it. You're still not reciprocated, or you're not wanting it to be reciprocated. I'm going to say that's like the majority of Gemini. If you're out there flirting, single, not single, long-term dating, married, whatever your status is, if you're a flirt right now, the majority of you don't want it reciprocated. But there is a portion of you where it's not harmless flirting. Like, you are expressing love. And it's a weird, nuanced thing that I'm talking about. You're expressing love because you want love, but you don't want it reciprocated. This is for a very niche part of the Geminis that might view this video. You do want to express love. You do want to make someone feel special, or make someone giggle, and you know, get an emoji sent back to you, like the winky kissy face emoji. Like you want that you want that type of communication to transpire. You don't want it with your partner, but you also don't want it to be serious. It's very strange what this is coming out as. You're not particularly interested in one person. You're not particularly interested in trying to establish another relationship outside of your relationship that you have already, like as in cheating or having an affair or having a rebound or a jump off or anything like that. But you do want to see if it's possible. Like you want to see if the possibility is there. Whether or not you'll act on it, I'm not sensing it here. But it's sort of like an interesting experiment that you're doing, which Gemini can do. You know, some of you are very well versed in the art of, I'm going to run a social experiment that nobody else knows I'm running because I want to see the results of if I did this, what would happen? And then you run your little experiment and you are the only one who knows how that experiment turned out. Okay? So that's a little heavy coming in to this reading, but that's what was there. So sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear. Now, how are you viewing your partner or potential partner or all those people up in your DMs? You're viewing these people or that person as the Wheel of Fortune. So there's a karma thing going on here. Karma, destiny, also matters of time here. And when you talk about the Wheel of Fortune, you can talk about it spinning in your favor, not spinning in your favor, moving you towards progression or sending you back because you didn't get something in your previous cycle. You know, again, with wheels, cyclical movement, right? The wheels on the bus go round and round, that kind of thing. Now, again, karma. So for some of you, who you're with is a karmic tie, as you may have heard here before. Now, how I personally consider a karmic tie, that could be anyone. Not to say like you're dating anyone, but to me, when I think of karmic tie and how I apply it in my own life is someone that you have a contract with outside of this world or within this world. But basically there's a contract. So, for example, you can have a karmic tie with a cousin. Now, most of us are not dating our cousins, but excuse me, but under the title of karmic partner, you could have a cousin that you have to have a certain interaction with, a certain experience with in this life that carries some kind of lesson for you or them or both of you. And that means you're a karmic partner. So in the case that we're talking about love and relationships, so that's what I mean. Karmic partner doesn't just mean romantic partner the way that I use it. It could be anyone. In this case, there is some karma between you and your partner. And the type of karma that you have, the length of the contract or the way in which it's going to play out, the way in which you both are going to experience it, the way in which you both will or will not get your lessons, come to a greater understanding, you know, that's all relative. It's all very subjective. Only you know and only they know. But whatever it is, it's significant. It came up, right? So I'm going to assume that we're moving. I'm going to assume. And you know what happens when we assume, right? But I'm going to say that it's going to be moving, quote unquote, in the right direction. Why put quotes around in the right direction? Because sometimes when you get the Wheel of Fortune and it indicates progress can come in the form of endings, beginnings, hold patterns, like, you know, like to be continued sort of thing, or just a total upheaval, but usually not a huge like upheaval like the Tower, but like a change in players, or not players, but a change in certain variables, right? So that, again, is subjective, what's going on between you and your partner. For some of you, things might be going well. You're just doing some, like I said earlier, some harmless flirting. They may or may not know about it. I don't know. I'm not looking at their side of the board. And with the Wheel of Fortune, there's something to be said about a lesson, I feel, that you're going through. And I'm not sensing that you're learning. You're going through a lesson. Some of you are not aware, or some of you are aware, but you're playing coy, or you're playing like you don't know. You're playing like you don't understand. You're playing like you don't see it. And others of you just straight up don't know anything about this. Even though you're here looking at it, you're like, what is this? I don't know what this is. So it's sort of like playing dumb, some of you. I think, and the way that it comes with me is, I think it's a positive progression or a positive spin of the wheel, so to speak. And that includes if some hardship comes out of it, or some tension, or an argument, or a break, or a breakup. Sorry to phrase it that way if that's not what you want to hear, but that's according to the Wheel of Fortune, according to, and this card also deals with Saturn, and Saturn is a hard taskmaster. Saturn like punches you in the face and you start crying. You're like, Saturn, why'd you punch me in the face? And Saturn is like, because you needed it. And like Saturn is like, now, what do you, like just is rough. Saturn can be rough. And it sucks to go through it if this is going to be a progression that isn't pleasant for some of you. It sucks to go through it, but it is necessary. And in the long run, which is what Saturn's all about, that long game that plays the long game, right? It is good. And that's how you're seeing them. So again, this context is how you're seeing your partner, or how you're seeing you guys as a unit. So for some of you, I think it is really going to be a make it or break it time, because you're out there, dipping a toe in the water. You're not ready to swim. You're not ready to cannonball into the pool. You're getting the temperature. You're on the side of the pool getting your stretches in. You know what I mean? Some of you are doing that. And then it will lead to a make or break moment with you and your partner. For some of you. For others of you, this is just going to be a test. You might be testing yourself. Like, do I really want to jump in the pool? Do I really want to jump in the deep end? And maybe you're like, on the edge of the pool. You're about to like do the running jump into the pool. And then as you get to the end of the diving board, you stop yourself. That's that Wheel of Fortune moment. Or you see that your partner, and again, this is like, this is manifesting through your partner or through your relationship. So where in your past, you typically would run off the diving board 10 times out of 10 and do the cannonball and get into a new situation or get out of your previous relationship, whatever it was. This one time out of 10 with this specific person, you're going to stop yourself. You're going to be like, I suddenly don't want to swim anymore. I just want to have a cocktail in the cabana. And I'm going to do that. And you change your whole plan. You change your whole way of behaving. Again, I think that's good. Because that involves self-awareness. And anything that has to do with self-awareness, I'm a fan of. But that's just me. Now, what's your desired outcome? What you're hoping for in the future with this relationship, Gemini, is the Queen of Swords. So, this could be you in your full power, in your full potential, in your highest of highs, so to speak, or your lowest of lows, depends on how you're vibrating. But Queen of Swords would represent air signs, so you, Gemini, or Libra, or an Aquarius. So either if this is you, or your partner could be another Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Now, how's this going? I think for some of you, it's not in a terrible way. And that's why I'm speaking about it so lightly, so like matter-of-factly, I suppose, which kind of fits with the MO and the characteristics of the Queen of Swords. Some of you are going towards a breakup or a break in your relationship, a timeout. Either way, whether it's long-term breakup or a short-term break from your partner, it's matter-of-fact. Like, it's coming. You want it to come. You're going to do it. Queen of Swords would do it. She would kind of she would make no bones about it. She would be really resolved in her decision. She would be very logical. She would try her best to be as tactful and diplomatic while she initiates a break. And that's kind of what I think some of you are doing. Not a good majority of you, but some of you are on your way to going, you know what, this isn't working for me. And it just might come out just like that. You know, you're sitting at the breakfast table, eating your Eggos, and you're like, you know what, this isn't working for me. What your partner does, I'm not looking at their side, so I don't know yet. We'll get to that if it applies. But for some of you, that's what this is about, getting into that power of knowing yourself, or getting back into knowing who you are and what you're doing. Who you are and what you're doing. Because here's, again, it's that playful energy where you're coming in, where maybe for a while you've been kind of foolhardy, you've been kind of like really just like not being serious, not really, which is, you know, natural for Gemini. Gemini is one of the children of the zodiac. You're in the third house, which is about siblings. So there is that playful energy innate in Gemini, where, and you're represented by the twins, right? So you do have a serious side and you do have a playful side. And I think you've been really letting that playful, high energy, kind of no give a F to the world, kind of rambunctious twin out. Serious twin is about to come in out of town, been on vacation. Now she's about to punch the clock and take over the ship. Okay? I think that really is sort of like what you're hoping for yourself. For the relationship, I think you would want more clarity. Because swords, especially when you get into the higher court cards of Queen and King, we're dealing with higher levels of clarity, higher levels of fair, or, like I said earlier, diplomatic communication. Not trying to be deceitful, not trying to be hurtful, although those potentials are still there if you vibrate at that lower range of the suits, or that lower range of the court card. Queen of Swords, if you really want her to, she could take it to you and she'll take your head off. And she won't think twice about it. She can be ruthless. So some of you might be going that route. But in general, I think if you apply this to your relationship, you just want to be straight up. You've done your little social experiment. You know what? Over the Eggos in the breakfast nook, you're like, you know what? This isn't working for me. And here's the data that I've gathered in the previous weeks or months. I still got it. I can go out here and get any man or any woman that I want. And here I am kicking it with you. And I don't want to do that anymore. So for some of you, that might be what's going on. Now, again, if you're really happy and solid in your relationship and this isn't really hitting, or you feel it's hitting, but not for your relationship, maybe the relationship of someone else you know, please don't force it, okay? Now, on their side, how are they coming into this relationship? How are they feeling about themselves? 9 of Pentacles. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. They're feeling lush. They're feeling like they've got everything that they need. Strikingly independent is one of the traditional interpretations of this card. And I'm not going to say that I wouldn't apply it in this deck either. I think this little person, this little happy lady on the card, she's happy. She's in her garden. She's in her vineyard, right? She's got her bird of prey on her arm there. Is it a bird of prey? No. No. But she's got her little bird on her hand there. She has all her grapes, all her pentacles. Looks like she's growing ice cream as well. So whoever you're connecting with, Gemini, no matter your status, they should be pretty happy. They're pretty set. They've worked hard. This is weird, the way this came into my ears just now. They're touching is how that was phrased. They're touching. So I'm going to go ahead and interpret that as they are sentimental. Which is, I wouldn't say that's not possible with this Nine of Pentacles card. Like, that striking independence also has a bit of tenderness behind it. Like, I've got this wonderful garden, I've got this wonderful vineyard that I've cultivated for myself, and I have all this lush abundance. This card is very similar to me to the Empress card, which is where I get they're touching, they're tender, they're sentimental, they're willing to share. She doesn't want to have all this and hoard it to herself. This is not the Four of Pentacles, this is the Nine of Pentacles. She has enough to go around. So whoever you're connecting with, they're a giving person. Are they giving to you right now? I think they would be. But the interesting thing about it is, they're not, this person, the Nine of Pentacles, they're not ever going to give so much to put themselves out. Okay? They're not going to give so much that it leaves them headed towards the poorhouse or leaves their checkbook a little light. So even if this person is buying all the dinners, you know, taking you out on shopping sprees, paying a bill for you, or saying, oh, you know what, honey, I'll take care of this month. You don't have to worry about that. Blah, blah, blah. If that's what they're doing, don't think that, you know, they're going to be like having to count their beans a little extra, or they're going to have to pull back. They've already done that. Don't think that they're being too generous with you, because they're going to take care of themselves first. So, yeah, that's interesting. How they're viewing you. Oh, okay. As the Ten of Pentacles. So that's a progression. So I think because it's a 9-10 here on their side, for some of them, they see this relationship with you going to the next level, going to the next step. They're plotting your future. They see something more in terms of expansion with you. And the Ten of Pentacles sort of is a card that indicates all of that. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about generations within a family. We're talking about making deep bonds and connections within a family sense. And, you know, oh, we're going to go and we're going to buy a house here. And we're going to have children in that house. And then our kids are going to grow up in that house. And then they're going to go out. You know, that whole thing, like literally 50 years from now, this is where we're going to live, and we're going to have the grandkids come over for Christmas and Easter, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to have money. Can't forget about the money since we're talking about pentacles, right? So this is about familial success and familial abundance and having a nice nest egg so that you can retire and not having to want for anything in terms of the 3D world. Have all your physical needs taken care of. That's what they view you as. So this person thinks you're a fabulous partner. Somebody to build a life with. Or you have that life already and they want to be a part of it. They're building up to join you. So maybe this is for some of you, your partner. Maybe you're not married yet. Maybe you're engaged. And they're viewing that once we get married, I'm going to go from this Nine of Pentacles because they feel pretty established on their side. But joining forces with you, so to speak, is going to give them that ultimate Ten of Pentacles. They like you. They like your family. They love your in-law or their in-laws. They love your cousins. They love your little nephews and nieces, whatever. Lovely. Now, what else? Anything else there? Teaching. Teaching, grasping. So again, the teaching, grasping is like somebody wants to, not to be taught, but somebody wants to get ingratiated with your family, to learn from your in-laws what it means to be a cohesive family unit. So teaching, I want to learn from your family. Grabbing, I want to become a part of it. You grab something and it becomes yours, right? So that's where that goes. So some, again, they feel pretty comfortable with themselves, but to get even closer with you and your family would increase their level of abundance, would increase their level of fulfillment. What are they hoping for as the outcome or in the future of this relationship? Interesting. Six of Swords. Now, traditionally, this is a card talking about leaving choppy waters, disturbed waters, rambunctious, tumultuous waters, going towards calm waters, right? So there might be a difficulty that you guys are dealing with within your relationship, or since this is on their side, it might just be something personal to them. And so this idea of moving on to something calmer, more fulfilling, less stressful, less daunting, less painful, I would apply that as well. Could also be a card of travel. Some of them want to have a getaway with you. There's only two figures, right? Oh no, there's three. There's a child there. So maybe some of you have kids with this person, or, one or both of you have children. So this could be indicating like a little couples getaway or like a family getaway for some of you. But I think it mostly applies to weathering the storms and coming out on the other side. And what? That's not a word. The word rambust came into my mind, and that's not a word. So, sorry, I don't know what that means. If that's a word, I don't think it is. I'd be curious to know. So, we're going to skip over that because I don't know what rambust is supposed to mean. And there's also like, you can't really see it, but there's like an impending sunrise over one of these hills in the card. So they're really hopeful for like a brighter future. This is very progressive on their side, which is interesting because I think you also have a progression, but it's not in the same vein. Most of you, I should say, most of you. Some of you might agree with this person, like, yeah, let's build this happy family. But if you do, I'm not even sure that you fully agree. Some of you do, but others of you, you're like halfway there. They're on 9 and 10, you're on like 5 and 6. As far as going towards this whole generational legacy, building up the perfect family dream that a lot of us have. So I'm not the reading that I did on your side and what I did on their side, there's a discrepancy here and it's not lost on me. And I did say it earlier, but again, when I do like these readings and I say, oh, break up or break, sometimes I feel like there's something heavy about it. There's like it's gonna be a breakup, like a sorry to tell you or sorry to confirm. That's not here on your side. I'm not seeing it on their side. They're either not thinking that way or they're not realizing that some of you are feeling that way. So there is a discrepancy here for some of you. And the interesting part about it for me, reading this right now and feeling, is that it's coming, for some of you, it's coming out in a way that sort of lacks sympathy or empathy for the other person. Not that you don't care about them, not that you don't love them, not that you don't want the best for them, but you are going to, this is huge on your side. And I don't know, it's like I said earlier, it's just a matter of fact thing. It's like talking about the weather. And in other news today, you and I are not going to be living together after next month. Now let's go over to Bob with sports. Like, that's how a lot of you will deliver that news, or that's how the realization came to you. Whether or not you've expressed it yet, whether or not you've admitted it to yourself, accepted it, whatever. That's how it is. Wow. This was a long reading. I'm looking at my camera. But that's how it came out. So I want to thank you, Gemini, for viewing your love reading for the second half of April. Again, if you liked what you saw here, if it resonated, go ahead and hit the like button, share some comments down below. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you'll find that information in the description box and or on the About page. And I will see you in another 2 weeks when I do your first half of May. So I'm just going to clear the board now. Whew. And we're going to call up Libra. I'm saying it like I'm questioning it. Libra? Yes, Libra. Hi, Libra. Oh, Gemini. You're still here. Excuse us. Libra, second of the air signs. Come on in. Sit down. Make yourself comfortable. How are you? Are you doing well? I hope so. Oh, boy. Libra. Thank you so much for coming to view this video, Libra. I do appreciate it. Hope everything's going well for you. Hope the Mercury retrograde wasn't too bad on you, too harsh on you. And like I said in the beginning, this deck has been infused and meditated on with your energy for the second half of April. What I'm going to do is reestablish now. Reestablish myself with the energy that's in the card. Oh, maybe you got a lot to say. You got a lot of flippers, and I'm not even shuffling the way I normally do. Anyway, let's get into it since it seems you're ready. First card out, Libra, is going to be how you're feeling coming into this love relationship in the second half of April, how you're viewing yourself, what might be your circumstances right now concerning this connection. Hello, Sidewinder. Up, thank you. Second card, Libra, is going to be how you're viewing your partner at this time, or how you're viewing your connection with them, how you're viewing yourselves as a unit, things like that. Yeah, okay. Come on. Boom. Third card on your side, Libra, is going to be your desired outcome, what you might be hoping or wishing for in the future, or what might be the next best plan for you, next best step, what might be some general advice for you to take forward in this relationship. First card on their side, Libra, is how they're feeling about themselves in this relationship, what they're bringing to the table, what they might be dealing with in their lives right now. Second card is going to be how they're feeling about you. Oh, wow. That flew very far. Excuse me, I'm going to have to move my whole setup and get that. All right, Libra, I went and got that card for you. Third card on your partner's side, or potential partner, is going to be their desired outcome, what they might be hoping or wishing for in the future of this, for the future of this relationship, what might be the next best step for them, or just general advice that they should take with them going into the future of this relationship. There, okay. All right, and there's no bottom of the deck energy in these general love readings. The sign that we speak of, which is you now, Libra, always acts as the overall arcing energy for the reading. All right, Libra. Let's see what you're working with, shall we? Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. This is nice. This might be pretty straightforward, but this is nice. All right. What I get overall is feisty. This is going to be fight, or you're feeling feisty, I should say. You're feeling feisty. Coming into the second half of April, Libra, you're feeling like the Queen of Swords. And again, this is the Santa Muerte Tarot deck. I like this deck so much. And so, being that this is Swords energy, this could be you, or excuse me, this could be an indication that you are within your Libra power. You're at your Libra vibration right now. You're sitting in your own element of Swords. Or it could indicate another air sign of significance, so another Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But I'm going to feel like, but I feel like, oh gosh, for a lot of you, this is you. And Unlike the other Queen of Swords, especially the one in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, this queen is relaxed. Like I said feisty, and I still mean feisty, but she's mostly relaxed. Look at that sword. She's carrying it across her shoulders. She doesn't have it in her hand ready to strike. She doesn't have it down as if she's not ready to attack. Like if she wanted to be like a true badass, she would take that sword in like one big swing of her arm and cut someone out or cut something down or take someone's head if she wanted to. But the posture is also pretty relaxed. I mean, she's in a field of flowers. She's kind of taken in the sights with her with her spade eyes, okay? So there's this potential to be ruthless. There's this potential to be a bitch. There's this potential to kind of be cold and calculating and just totally just terrible, destructive, but you're not in that mode. You have that option. You could blow it at any moment for some of you. Some of you, it's just like some of you are like, say one more thing. Say one more thing and I'm going to take you out. You know, some of you might be like on the edge of swinging that sword. But for most of you, I think it's like a, look at these pretty flowers. Like this queen previous to this, or her normal state is probably similar to that Queen of Swords in the Rider-Waite, where she is on her throne. She is looking like she's ready to decapitate someone. But this queen in this deck is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take a walk outside. I'm going to get some fresh air. I'm tired of sitting on my throne. I'm tired of taking all these people's heads. I just need to take a walk around my kingdom and appreciate, you know, all the beauty that I have surrounding me. So that potential to go back to that hardened queen is there. But for now, she's just outside on a break, taking a 30-minute break. You know? And again, this queen, all the queens really work hard. But I'm going to say probably, in my opinion, the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands probably work the hardest, so to speak. Like, because they have to actually, well, all queens have to do action, but there's just that extra oomph, that extra pow when it comes to the swords and the wands energy. So some of you have been working really hard. You've been going through some difficult stuff or dealing with like really, really tedious things. And you've been meticulous. You've been calculating. You've been ruthless when you had to be because someone didn't, you know, do their job right, or someone didn't take your feelings into consideration. But at this moment, coming into the last half of April, you're on your break from that energy. So that's nice. So they're feisty, but toned down, right? How are you viewing your partner? Coming into the second half of April, you view them as the Two of Cups. Lovely, right? Traditional Rider-Waite, this is one of the soulmate cards, if not the soulmate card. And in this deck, it's very similar. The two skulls, or one of the skulls, is pouring the watery contents of their skull into the other one. And the other skeleton is reaching into the rib cage and grabbing at the heart of the other. Isn't that nice? Cyclical transference of energy, transference of thoughts and emotions, just a sharing, caring, lovey-dovey, ooey-gooey exchange between you and this person. That's how you view them. You view them as your soulmate. You're like, you're the one for me. You know, I think yesterday I was telling one of the earth signs, they were having like a Grease moment, and you're the one that I want. Danny Zuko to Sandy kind of moment. So that's straight up. Very forward, very clear, very forward, very, no, pardon the pun, no bones about it. You really, really care about your partner. If you are committed to them, married to them, dating them, Tindering, or you met them on Tinder like a month ago, there's just this strong attraction that you have to this person. if I were to throw caution at this, the reason that the Queen of Swords is on a, not the reason that she's on a break, but this tender feeling might be because you are on a break, where normally you're like, especially to this person, not especially to this person, but perhaps to this person, you have been like, had your sword at the ready. Coming in this last half of April, you might be resting. That might allow you to get to this nice sweet spot with them. So what I'm saying is this could be just temporary. Either you just came into this and it's nice and refreshing to be relaxed with your partner, or feel relaxed to approach them, to be intimate with them, whatever it is. There's a potential, like I said, since this queen is sort of on a break, to go back into, okay, now you go to your corner, I go to my corner, and let's continue our passive-aggressive fighting. For some of you, that is a possibility. So, I didn't want to make this all rose-tinted glasses, because that can't be the reality for all of you. You all can't be having ooey gooey mushy stuff at the same time. Statistically, it would be impossible. Now, sorry if that comes off harshly. Now that Mercury is out of retrograde, I think I'm getting back into my like more blunt way of doing readings. Anyway, what you're wishing for in the future is the Knight of Wands. This is also something you might take as advice, or just what might be the general future for the relationship on your side of things. So Knight of Wands, like very similar to the King of Wands in this deck, but definitely not as polished. So, Wands energy, talking about fire signs, or the element of fire, the element of fire. I think to a certain degree, this would go hand in hand with the Queen of Swords down in the first position for you. You're gonna get energized again. You're gonna get your mojo back. You're gonna get your sort of dreamer cap back on, and maybe there's a certain project that you put on pause that you're gonna get reinvigorated about, and you're just gonna go out there and you're just gonna not annihilate, but you're gonna dominate. Like, that's kind of the feeling, or at least the intention, because knights have a tendency to, like, they want to do the thing. They're going towards what they're seeking, but they might miss the mark a little bit because they're still a little wet behind the ears, right? They're not on the level of queens and kings. So some of you have this desire to accomplish something, to create something, to get involved in something, but you might not be able to get it just yet, because or you might get part of it, a portion of it, 75% of it, you know what I mean? So the Knight of Wands desires success. He desires to go on his journey to get to his final destination, etc., etc. But if he was like UPS, he'd be like a day late. You know, I made it. I brought the package to Cleveland, but I missed my delivery window by like 8 hours. Something like that. Now, in terms of your relationship, you might want to take a trip with your partner or your intended partner or who you're dating, whatever. But you just might not be able to go right now. Or in the near future, you might not be able to get the tickets that you wanted or the price that you wanted. You might not be able to get the hotel that you really wanted, things like that. In terms of intimacy, you want to get laid. To be perfectly honest, you want to get laid, but you can't get laid. Or you were hoping to have like a huge romantic night out, wine and dine you, take you home, put on the soft music, rose petals are on the bed. None of that can happen. We couldn't get a babysitter. Or you've got an early meeting, so let's just skip the dinner and get straight to the bed, or, which is likely the other way around. Let's just have dinner, and then you go home and like, oh, I'm so tired, and I have to get up for work, you know. So that's what I mean, as far as like, you want this thing, but you're not going to get all of it. You want to go this distance with your partner, you want to accomplish this new, or excuse me, not accomplish, you want to embark on this new adventure with your partner. Just instead of it happening in the latter half of April, maybe you got to put it off and go in July. That kind of thing. Okay? How is your partner coming into this whole shebang? In the second half of April, they're coming in as the Four of Wands. So that's nice. It's very nice, isn't it? Oh, boy. So, looks like this skeleton has a wares stand, like a little shop stall, and they're selling stuff. So you might be with a partner who's industrious, who owns a business or has a small business, is opening up a business. So that is coming across here. But they're also interested in foundational work or foundational efforts. They're trying to build something, and they're aware of it. Like, they're kind of like focused on that. There's a certain task, a certain goal, a certain project, a certain deadline that they're focused on achieving. In terms of love, that could be with you. That could be you're setting a wedding date for some of you who are engaged or dating or what have you. For others of you, it could be planning a honeymoon if you're newly married, or even if you've been married for a long time. Maybe you never got to go on your honeymoon and it was 15 years ago that you got married, so now you're doing that. Whatever they're doing, it's a fusion. It's a putting together of pieces. It's like, okay, fine. The immediate image that came to mind for me was like putting together a Lego set, or, anything that it comes with instructions, but you actually don't have to follow those instructions. You can assemble this structure or this creation, but you don't have to go buy the book or buy the instruction manual. So there's this idea of putting something together, merging things together in an unconventional way and making it work, and damn well being sure that you're going to succeed. They really want to succeed at whatever they're trying to accomplish, whatever they're trying to put together, whatever they're trying to essentially marry. Sorry. More fun images in my mind there. So that's nice. They are fired up. They're focused. They're dialed in. That's good. Very good. Now, how are they viewing you in this relationship? Or your relationship together as a unit is the Ten of Wands. Now, Ten of Wands is very, in this deck, all the tens are very different than the traditional Rider-Waite, because you only see one of these guys, right? You're like, where's the 10? It's there, I guess. And the wands technically might be like those towers there. Like that kingdom there. I haven't counted them, and I'm not going to right now. But I think right now, distant is what I get. Far away, busy, tied up, etc., etc. Okay, so there's something going on between you two where, like, they're connected with you. All this feels very connected. They're connected with you, but there's some kind of distance, right? And so maybe that's what's going on. Like, maybe you're away on a business trip. Maybe they're away on a business trip, but there might be something that prevents you from being together. But you still have this very strong emotional bond with your partner, Libra, or potential partner. And maybe that's why the Queen of Swords is on a break. Maybe you're at a conference for your job, where again you would be relaxed, like, going and having dinner with your coworkers and, enjoying your per diem as much as you can. But, during the day, you might have to, like, take some heads in the middle of your PowerPoint. Hey, Steve, could you keep it down? I'm in the middle of talking about next quarter's goals. Thank you. Sorry to jump back to you. Let's go back to them. So there's this recognition that you're dealing with heavy things on your side, because this is how they see you. And 10 of Wands does indicate that, right? You've got stuff that you have to handle, and it keeps you two apart. And that's okay, Because they're still going to build this thing that's going to benefit you. If they're doing a business, if they're opening up their own business, you're going to share in those profits. If they're going to start a nonprofit, you're going to be tagged along with that. It's not going to be the Libra's Partners Foundation. It's going to be the Libra's Partner and Libra Foundation, LLC. Okay? So whatever they're building towards, it's with you in mind, despite the distance between you, despite this load of crap that you have to deal with in your Queen of Swords energy, likely to deal with work or something external to you, something that is circumstantial, that doesn't affect them on the inside, because on the inside they feel tenderly towards you. You feel tenderly towards them, and they feel tenderly towards you. Okay? Like I said in the beginning, this is a nice reading. What are they hoping for in the future? What are they wishing to come down the line? What might be the next best step on their side of things? Is the Emperor? Or general advice? And I say general, and he kind of looks like a general, right? Looks like he could have been telling people what to do in his branch of the army. Now, on your partner's side, is this Libra's partner? If it is, you might be dating an Aries right now, or married to an Aries, or fooling around with an Aries, whatever. Is this them? Is this Aries partner? Oh God. Is this Libra's partner? Yes and no. So, some of your partners are gonna embody this energy, utilize this energy, get into this energy, and others are not. So, for those that are, your partner then would be focused on building an empire as the Emperor. So they would be a business owner, they would be a boss, they would be a manager, they would be, like I said a second ago, founding a nonprofit, founding an online store, expanding on their Etsy shop, expanding on whatever. They would be very focused on building something financially, or excuse me, that would provide finances or be concerned with finances, or they are doing this domestically. So some of them are the head of household, so they would be taking care of the home, doing fix-up projects around the home, getting the plumbing straightened out, fixing the roof, finding proper landscapers, blah, 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 blah. Maybe they're in real estate. Maybe that's their gig, right? Or they would be the breadwinner. And again, boss or manager, not necessarily owning the company, but having a hand in helping it run smoothly. Or they are becoming the breadwinner, where they didn't have to do that before, and now they're stepping up to the plate. And when I'm saying that, a good portion of that is not in the house you share with them. So some of you have someone, your partner is in another relationship, or they are dissolving another relationship. They are stepping into this Emperor energy, having to be a leader, take charge, be their own boss, sort of call their own shots, and they've never had to do that before because someone else was doing it, or they were sharing that responsibility with someone else. For others of you, where your partner does not have someone else, they would just be getting to this point in their lives where they realize, I want to build things, I want to construct a future for myself. I gotta be a boss. I gotta be a badass about it. I can't just sit on my hands and try and wait for success to fall into my lap. That's not how it works. I gotta pull myself up by my back, by my bootstraps, and get on with it. Now, for those where that's not the energy that they're gonna embody, the no part of, is this Libra's partner? No. They're gonna encounter someone like this, and they're going to have to do some battle with this person. This person doesn't necessarily want to stop your partner or hold them back or be mean to them, block them from anything. They're just going to have to come into a compromise with an Emperor type of person. Could be you. Maybe you're coming back from the conference and Steve really just grinded your gears and you need to decompress, but you're going to come in the door as the Emperor and they're going to be like, hey, do you want a Mai Tai? Do you need a cocktail? Do you want to go out for dinner? Do you just want to take a nap? Like, they're going to have to soothe this person. Or, like I said, just compromise with them. So in terms of business, if they're trying to open up their own business, start their own foundation, somebody is a gatekeeper that needs to be compromised with. Okay? Now, in terms of love, like I said, overall in the beginning of this is wonderful. You both care about each other. You both want each other. You both love each other. You both are interested in each other. In terms of, intimacy, you both want to bump uglies, so that's good. There's nothing that indicates that you don't want to. It's only that you might not be able to. Beautiful. Thank you, Libra, for viewing your love reading for the second half of April. If you like what you saw here, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you've got comments, if you want to talk about how this resonated, leave them in the comment section below. And if you have people who you think need to watch this video, you're like, oh my God, this is my life, share that video with them. Also, check out the description box below for information on getting a private reading with me, or you can also check the About page for that information. Bye, Libra. We're going to bring up Aquarius now. Hi, Aquarius. There you are. And you go there in the middle. And we're going to get your deck, and we're going to get into your reading. Hello, Aquarius. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It's going to be your love reading for the second half of April. Hope everything's going good with you. Hope that the Mercury retrograde wasn't too terrible for you. It was interesting for me. Very, very interesting. And I shouldn't say that because not much happened, but it was still interesting in terms of spiritual development. And I'm telling you these things because I didn't tell the others. But I'm telling you these things because you can appreciate it. You've got that interest in spirituality. You have that interest in what we might need to know beyond this world and beyond ourselves and all that good stuff. Anyway, Aquarius, getting into your energy. I did meditate on this deck before I started recording this very long video. And I'm just getting back into that area, that energy for Aquarius. Second half of April 2018, love. There it is. Thank you. All right, Aquarius. First card out is going to be how you see yourself coming into this love relationship in the second half of April 2018, how you're viewing yourself, what you are bringing to the table, what you might be dealing with in terms of circumstances and situations in your lives, or just how you're feeling about yourself in general. Sidewinder. Up or down, please. Up. Ooh. And I shot it back on myself. But then when I pulled it, it was down. The guidance was for up, so we're going to go with up. Now, excuse me, second card, Aquarius, is going to be how you're viewing your partner at this time in your relationship, or how you're viewing yourselves as a unit, as a couple. And you got two, which I will take. But we've got a sidewinder again. Sidewinder, up or down, please. Down, okay. Excuse me. Third card, Aquarius, is going to be what you might be hoping or wishing for in this relationship. What is your desired outcome for the future of this relationship, or what might be the next best step for things on your side, or what you might need to take as advice going forward in this relationship. Oh, two? Yep. Oh boy, someone else had a lot of doubles with this deck. I think it was a fire sign. I think it was Leo. Or maybe not. I don't remember. Only did it like 2 days ago, but I can't remember. Alright, on their side, first card, Aquarius, is going to be how they're viewing themselves coming into this relationship in the second half of April. What the situation is with them, how they're feeling, etc. Second card is going to be how they're seeing you right now in this relationship, how they're viewing you guys as a unit. Up or down, sidewinder, please. Up or down. This way, okay. Excuse me, Aquarius, I apologize. I'm getting a little congested while I'm doing this. Third card is going to be their desired outcome, what they might be hoping and wishing for in the future of this relationship. What are their hopes, their wishes in the future? What might be the advice for them to take with them? Or what might be the next best step? Okay, there it goes. For them in the future. Fell like that. We're going to take it like that. No bottom of the deck energy, as this is a general love reading. You are your own overall anchoring, overarching energy. Flip these two cards to see what we got. And this is what we got. I'm like super congested, so I'm going to pause this and I'm just going to take care of that. Okay, Aquarius, thank you for allowing me to do that. Not like you could have stopped me, but I'm so sassy now that Mercury retrograde is over. All right, let's go. What's going on with Aquarius coming into the second half of April for their love lives? Let's see. All right, Aquarius. It's a lot going on here. So much. Oh, gosh. Now, coming in. You see yourself as the Wheel of Fortune. This is what you're dealing with in your personal life, or this is just the energy that you're radiating with, which is nice. Wheel of Fortune is good, you know? Well, depends on how you look at it, right? Wheel of Fortune in the traditional Rider-Waite deck talks about karma, talks about destined or fated events and fated circumstances, things like this. And some of you might be feeling that way. Some of you might feel like where you are in your life right now, in terms of love or not, is a destined position. Like you kind of would have ended up here no matter which route you took, okay? In terms of yourself, you might be feeling lucky. It is the Wheel of Fortune, after all. And so, oh man, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it is the Wheel of Fortune after all. So some of you, even though you might feel like you're in a predestined position or karmic position, some of you feel lucky to be there. Some of you feel unlucky to be there. Some of you, this is also, I guess, to run the gamut. Some of you just feel fine. Like you feel neither lucky nor unlucky. You just kind of accept it. And you're kind of just like, oh, not much is going on. So yeah, I guess I'm okay with it, you know. In terms of, strictly in terms of love, some of you might be with someone, and I'm seeing it come up here with the Six of Cups, which we're going to talk about in a second. Some of you are in a cycle with a person, like another cycle. Like you've been with them before, here they are again, or you came back again. It's like a rotating door. No offense to anyone, not trying to imply anything, but you're definitely dealing with someone that you've dealt with before, and some of you feel lucky to have that experience again, and some of you are feeling unlucky in having that experience again, and others of you are feeling like it's a crapshoot, even which is very similar to a roulette wheel, right? You can spin that wheel and let the little ball roll. Maybe it'll come up red, maybe it'll come up black, but you have, the odds are ridiculous. And you can't, well, I guess some of you could if you're like a card shark or like a huge gambler, but you can't really fathom the odds. So some of you are like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen here. And you have like an exhilarating yet anxious feeling about being with this person again. Okay? How are you viewing them? Well, like I just said, Six of Cups and King of Wands in reverse. So that Six of Cups, traditionally in the Rider-Waite, talks about nostalgia, talks about people coming back from your past, someone, a lot of interpretations say it's someone from your childhood. For me, when it's like, it's somebody from your past, somebody from your childhood, like, what novel are you reading that anybody, well, not anybody, but a lot of people end up with someone like they met in the third grade? Like, it happens, but like, how often? Not really. So, sorry to sound so cynical, but that's kind of how I always take it when I see other readers say that. I'm like, no. That's very, like, minute or like just so eerily specific. Someone you knew in elementary school, someone you knew in middle school. I was like, what? I don't even know where those people are. And I live in the era of Facebook. Anyway, so Six of Cups could talk about that. For some of you, it's someone that you knew when you were a kid, someone that you knew when you were an adolescent. For others, it could just be someone that you knew in your early 20s, in your early 30s. But the idea is that being with them reminds you of when you were a kid, when you had a more innocent and carefree existence. That's what the Six of Cups means to me when I read tarot and when I've had it interpreted for me. So it gives you that feeling of being a kid. It gives you that feeling of having no worries in the world, no adult responsibilities. And you might, catch butterflies and become nervous and giddy and all that kind of stuff when you become around them, which is associated with like that puppy dog love kind of not immature, but inexperienced way of being in love with someone or dating someone or being infatuated with someone. So, for those who are not necessarily dealing with anybody in your past, that could still apply. Like, this person could be new to you. Your partner could be brand new. You don't know them from Adam. You just met them within 2018. But again, they're giving you that feeling of like being a kid again. For others of you, they are behaving like a kid. They are immature. They live a carefree life, which can appeal to Aquarius. You do like a free spirit, right? Now, with the King of Wands in reverse, some of you might be dealing with a fire sign, but that's just to cover my bases and, give you the rote answer. But I'm thinking, especially since it's in reverse, so let me show you it upright, because not a lot of people use this deck on YouTube that I've seen, just so you can get an idea of it. So, that's a pretty clever guy, right? Look at what he has. He's got one tool, but they've got like all those capabilities, all those functions. This is an industrious man. This is an inventor, somebody who's creative, somebody who can rule the roost, but does so from the comfort of his lazy boy or comfort of his armchair and ottoman. That's pretty impressive. I invented this contraption. It's got 5 arms or whatever, and I can clean the whole house from here. But it's in reverse. So whoever you're connecting with, to use a phrase that I get from watching British TV shows, some of you are with someone who's lost the plot. And I'm not using it in that same vein that a British person might use it to mean like they're kind of crazy or insane. Maybe that's the case for some of you. They're a little off their rocker. But lost the plot as in, like, I think some of you are dealing with someone who has lost their mojo, lost their drive, lost their tenacity in terms of work or in terms of self-sufficiency. Some of them are being lazy. Some of them have checked out mentally. Maybe they've like suffered a loss or not a loss, but a setback, and it kind of knocked the wind out of their sails. And that might account for them behaving like a kid, because what do we usually, I don't know how healthy it is, but a lot of times when you suffer a disappointment or a setback, people are like, they feel like sympathy for you for a little while, but then eventually they start saying, okay, so get back out there and don't let this destroy you. This isn't good. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Don't you want to get back in the, get back in the fight? They don't want, not that they don't want to, they're just not there yet. And you recognize this. You recognize that they're not at their full capacity. They're not on in their highest energy. They're not in their highest humor, or rather, they don't have their lightheartedness as fully as they used to. So you recognize that this person is going through their own thing. They're dealing with some stuff on their end. How you feel about it, I think you feel minus the luck aspect, which I discussed in the beginning, I think a lot of you feel like this is where you were going to end up anyway. When this person becomes downtrodden, when they have that setback in their life, they always come back to you. Even if you're married and you've been with this person a long time, usually they can handle their own business. Like I said, this King of Wands, when he's upright, he doesn't even have to work hard. He can sit back and relax because he's invented something, or he's created circumstances that sort of work on their own. Like in a weird way, like this King of Wands, when he's in the upright, he kind of would be like Willy Wonka. I have a whole factory, but guess what? I got a bunch of Oompa Loompas to do all the mixing and the baking for me. I don't even need to go down to the production floor. That's who you normally have. But they're not like that right now. And you know this is how it is. When my wife gets in a bad mood, or they don't feel up to their top level of performance, I kind of have to step in and support them, or I kind of have to step in and be their shoulder to cry on. And you don't mind doing that, Aquarius, a lot of times. You don't mind being somebody's cheerleader. You're in it for the better of the whole, for the most part. That's kind of like your MO in a lot of things. Why let the whole thing crumble when we could just sit back and work on it? Okay? Now, what are you hoping for going into the future of this relationship? What might be the next best step for you? What might be some advice for you? You've got the Devil and the Eight of Cups. Boy. Nobody really hopes for the Devil, even though in this deck, I mean, look at that. That's a lovely chocolate cake. I'm sure some of you have dietary restrictions, but tell me that cake doesn't look good. Now, and the interesting thing about this deck is the Devil, same as, or very similar to the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's about vices. It's about things that you feel control you, or that you have no control over, when in fact you do. That's why the word vice is there. The Devil, the cake has a cigarette and a martini. Ugh! I'm sure some of you are like, yes, I want a slice of that cake. But why would you be hoping for that? Well, because it's paired with the Eight of Cups, I think what you're truly hoping for, because these would be working in tandem, is to overcome these situations where you feel like you don't have any control, that you don't have any say, that you feel are bigger than you and you can't conquer them. Eight of Cups is a card about that industrious energy, the gumption and the push through, okay? Like, and I'm saying it that way because it's stacks of coffee, and this woman, even though she looks exhausted, there is like a sort of fire in her eyes, a determination in her eyes. And sometimes the best way to conquer something is to walk away from it. And that is traditionally what the Eight of Cups talks about in the Rider-Waite deck. So there is some temptation, or there is some encompassing feeling. Not constricting like you can't move, but encompassing. Like the visual that I got was what do you call that? A wagon train? Is that what you call that? In like the Wild West, where you would have the covered wagons and they would encircle a campsite, and that acts as like, okay, we're hunkering down for the night here, and we're protecting ourselves from any, bandits and thieves who might want to come and rob and steal from us in the middle of the night. So there's this feeling of being encircled or enveloped in something, or having a situation, or having maybe even just the feeling of your relationship, or the trials and the difficulties that you guys are facing. Because I feel like you're including your partner in this a little bit. Whatever is facing you both right now is trying, is tiresome, is a challenge, and you feel encompassed by it. Not entangled, not trapped, but you do feel like it's looming, like a fog or something. And when you have that feeling, you know that you can walk through a fog, right? Or drive through a fog, but you don't want to go too fast, or you don't want to make the wrong turn because there might be a cliff, there might be a tree, there might be a wall, there might be some unseen enemy. So there's this idea that you know you're not completely stuck, you know you can move forward, and you have to do it because you have this Eight of Cups energy, and that would be an energy of you're determined to push through, you're determined to move forward, you're determined to find a better point to stand in because you're so dissatisfied and tired with where you are now. So you, in these cards in tandem, are indicating that you, definitely for yourself, but also I'm going to say most of you feel, and with your partner or potential partner or whoever the other side is referring to, you want to see this progression, you want to see the situation get better for both of you. At the very least for yourself. You don't want to be caught up in a fog. You don't want to stay in this wagon trail or this encircling of wagons that's not where you build a life. The whole point of traveling in a wagon across the plains of America was to get to your destination and settle. You don't settle in a fog. You don't settle in a wagon train. You still have to move on, or you have to wait for the fog to clear. You have to wait for the sun to come up in the morning so you can continue to journey. You want that progression with or without your partner, but preferably with them. Now, oh, it's such a long video, I'm sorry. How is your partner viewing themselves coming into the second half of April? They view themselves as the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. Okay. Someone is thinking they're a bad boy, bad girl, bad boy, bad girl, greaser type. A charlatan came across, and maybe that's residual because I was talking about the wagon train, I don't know. But someone recognizes their, for lack of a better word, their bad qualities. And they're not necessarily bad, but they know that they can be short-tempered. They know that they're being a little crude or crass in the way that they're communicating with you or interacting with you. They know they've been standoffish. They know that they've been running hot and cold on you. They know that you don't know which way is up when it comes to them. And they might believe that they can't help it. It's in my nature. I can't help it. Sort of like that scorpion and the frog story. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but basically, Scorpion has to get across a lake or some body of water, a stream or something. And he says to the frog, "Hey, frog, let me ride on your back to the other side. I need safe passage." And the frog is like, "Yeah, right. If I let you on my back, you're just going to sting me and we're going to die. Or I'm going to die." And the Scorpion's like, "No, man, you can trust me. Just take me across the other side. It's no big deal." So they travel across the water, and the water gets deeper, and the Scorpion's like, "Hey man, your butt's submerging in the water. Let me up onto your shoulders or up to the upper part of your back." And the frog is like, "Okay, fine." And he keeps swimming, and the Scorpion's like, "Oh man, the water keeps coming up. Let me go up to your head." And he gets up and he starts riding on the Scorpion's head, the frog's head. And just as they're about to get to the other side, the Scorpion stings the frog, and they both begin to drown. And just before the frog is completely submerged in the water, he's like, "Why'd you do that? Like, we were almost there. I trusted you. Why did you do that?" And the Scorpion is just like, "It's in my nature. Sorry about it. Now we're both dead." So, a very long story within a tarot reading short. This person feels they have the potential to destroy you, or to destroy your relationship, or to destroy what's good in your relationship. And that's not cool, but it is truthful for some of them. And if this is not resonating, if you're happy, they're happy, nobody's trying to sabotage anybody, nobody's pulling out their stinger and, jabbing it into the side of the other, this does not apply to you. I thank you for showing up and watching, but please don't force it if it doesn't fit. Now, for those of you where this is kind of hitting, the interesting thing is, and it's not in a manipulative way. So keep that in mind. It's not in a manipulative way. It's not in a way of they're taking advantage. They know they're doing this and they feel like they can't help it. And they're kind of perplexed because here you are with your best friend Betty or Veronica, right? Like just still idolizing them. Like, oh, no, Johnny, he always plays like that. He's just a fun kind of guy. And your friend's like, what? What are you talking about? He's a douchebag. What do you mean? And you're like, oh, it's just the way he is. It's okay. So some of you are like apologizing for your partner, making excuses for them. And the interesting thing again is this is their nature. They can't help it. Some of them are apologizing for it. Others are just like, you know how I am. Deal with it. Others are like, you know how I am and I'm sorry. So you're getting that potential, right? But the interesting thing about it is no matter what, and this is probably why you're like surprising your friends, is when you guys are alone, this Knight of Swords, your partner, tells you whether they want to change or not, whether they are sorry for who they are or not. For your sake, they wish they were different. For your sake, they wish they weren't like this. Why would I say that? Why do I know that? Because this switchblade is not a blade, it's a comb. And I said it in a previous reading, I think for one of the fire signs. This is like Danny Zuko. Like if this is a real greaser bad boy type out of like a movie that's supposed to be from like the 50s or the 40s or whatever, when greasers were really popular and they were degenerates and all that good stuff. This is a fake one. He doesn't have a real sword. He has a comb. So whatever badassery that they fake, whatever coldness that they give off, whatever aloofness that is there, that is how they are. But they wish they weren't that way. They wish they could change. They wish they were someone different. Or they wish that the way that they express their coldness and aloofness wasn't towards you and wasn't detrimental to your relationship. Others of them, and it's a nuanced thing, so don't get me wrong. When it's the one that says, you know how I am, deal with it, they could still wish to be different, but they're not going to sit here and tell you they're going to be different. They're not going to try and get your hopes up, and actually they're trying to tell you to save yourself. It's one of those things where they're like, they're not apologizing, but they are. It's kind of weird, that nuanced part of it. Now, how are they seeing you in this relationship? They see you as the Four of Pentacles reverse. Show you upright, since it's not a common deck. Where you were saving, where you were standoffish or holding back, you're not doing that. You might be opening the purse strings for some of them, since we're talking about pentacles. You might be paying bills for them. You might be dipping into your savings, not for them, but in the context of your relationship. So maybe you're having more takeout. Maybe you guys are going on more trips. Maybe you're buying more things on Amazon because you just got an apartment together, whatever. So some of them are coming up off of their money, and they're good with money. Or excuse me, you're good with money. I'm talking like they're here. Reverse everything I said. They see you as the person who's loosening the purse. They see you as the person who is spending more money on takeout, on Amazon, etc., etc. You, Aquarius, are good with money. I apologize. And Not sure that's the best thing you should be doing, if I'm honest. Not that I think you would, if you are good with money, I don't think most of you would run the risk of like putting yourselves in the poorhouse in this relationship for the sake of this person and whatever you guys have together. But you might want to think or go back and like look at your transactions and see how often you might be spending or how much you're spending in a single purchase or towards a certain thing. Like again, if you're the one putting all the money towards the furnishings for the new apartment and you're looking at their bank statement and you see like they like purchased 2 things, but you've purchased 8. Be mindful of that. Now, in other ways, they see that you're kind of not holding back with them in the sense of you're being like sensitive or you're being open, you're being receptive. I think in a lot of ways, what is it? Mulling, okay. Mulling. For some of you, the 4 Pentacles in reversed, you might be spending or you might be more open to spending, but you're mulling. And mulling in this case to them means like you're kind of being like a mom about it. No, you're being a nag about it. Like you're spending the money, but you're running your mouth like, oh, this is costing me X amount of dollars, and I'm trying to save because I want to get a new car by next summer. But here you go, here's your new sweater, or here are your new sneakers, or here's the new trip to the Bahamas that you wanted so badly, and you're kind of like holding it against them. You're nagging them about the money that you're spending, even though they're not really asking you or even expecting you to spend that money. Oi, 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 oi. Well, yeah, that's kind of all that's there. What are they hoping for in the future? What are they hoping might be the next best outcome? Or what might be the advice for them? The Hierophant. Which I love in this deck because it's like so not like the traditional interpretation of the card. Hierophant. In this case, is really talking to the idea of powerful systems and powerful institutions, right? In this case, television media, or the idea of modern media, right? In traditional tarot, you see a religious figure, which, of course, is still could be included in this deck. So there's this idea of control, but subtle or subliminal, since this is a television set, right? I think they feel slightly out of control or out of sorts. They are not themselves, or this is not where they want to be. Not necessarily in the relationship with you, but something is askew. Something isn't right. And I think they think there's some deeper subterranean or sub-level influence that's affecting the discord that they feel. They feel something is off, but they don't know where. And whatever that thing is, whatever that influence is, whatever that source is powerful, controlling, hard to stop, hard to manage, hard to even identify. Like if you think about, because this is again a television, if you think about media now, it's huge. It's everywhere. Not just TV, but online, computers, the internet, on the side of buses. You still have magazines and newspapers to consider. You have radio, you have things like YouTube, that's media. And when you have a gripe with media today, there's like a long pipeline that you have to go through, where you're trying to, if you have a complaint about something you saw on television, you might see it on ABC. And you're like, okay, I have a gripe with ABC. But then you realize, oh no, Disney owns ABC. So now I go here and I have a gripe with Disney. But then you realize Disney is also a part of this and that and this and that and that, or however it goes. So that's what it is. Whatever is the disturbance, the discrepancy on their side of things within themselves, within your relationship that you share together, or maybe they see it's with you. Whatever the discrepancy is, the true owner or home base or foundation of that problem, that discrepancy, that they just can't pinpoint it easily, and it frustrates them. They don't like this. They want to find it. But on a philosophical level, they might feel it's impossible. Or they might feel that if they did ever find that true source of the problem, it would be like a David and Goliath situation. Where, my God, would I even stand a chance at conquering or finding a resolution to said problem, said discrepancy? Deep stuff on their end. Your side is also deep because, again, that whole Wheel of Fortune. I feel lucky to have you. I feel lucky or unlucky I'm here. It could go either way with you, and it is sort of a spin of the wheel, right? But I think you're more hopeful. They're more pessimistic. Absolutely. Okay? I think you both care about each other in terms of love and relationships. If you have someone, again, if none of this resonated, I apologize. Please come back in 2 weeks and see me. Maybe I'll have a message for you. But for those where this is absolutely hitting home in some kind of way, I think you both care about each other. I think their love or their care for you is genuine as much as they are capable of loving you and showing you love and affection. Because again, they might be kind of cold and aloof with you and kind of treat you rotten sometimes. That's the best they can do right now. And some apologize, some don't, but that's the reality of it. Whether or not you choose to be there and stay there, I don't really see that there. I don't see you kind of stepping away. And that might be the devil energy that you need to conquer, or the devil energy that you need to walk away from, or the devil energy that you need to sit back and reflect on. Am I in my own fog? Did I create this fog? Or not even create, did I co-sign on this fog, this confusion? Should I get up and walk away? You know, that might be something some of you need to consider. On their side, they're not really going anywhere. A lot of their energy is for them. Like they got to figure some stuff out. With or without you. And you kind of had that with or without you up there too. But you would prefer with them. You would prefer to progress forward with them. And they're kind of like, I don't know. I want to find out where this path lies, where this pipeline of discrepancy leads to. Okay? So Aquarius, I want to thank you for watching your love reading for this second half of April. I hope that it's resonated. If it did, please hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave comments below, and share the video if you know someone who is an Aquarius like yourself, or you're like, oh my God, I've been telling you this is my life story. Watch this video. It's confirmed. Feel free to share the video. And definitely come back in in 2 weeks where I do the first half of May for when I do this again. Also, check the description box below and or the About page if you're interested in getting a personal reading with me. And I'm also have a link there for doing donations. You do not have to, of course. That's why it's called the donation. But anything that you would choose to contribute because you don't necessarily want a personal reading or need a personal reading, that would be appreciated. No amount is too big or too small. All contributions are welcome. And I don't normally start clearing the board before I say goodbye, so I must be in some kind of rush. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Bye.